Okay, so thank you all so much for joining class today. This is a 60-minute yoga for relaxation class. So as I mentioned before we started, sometimes with yoga, the goal is like to strengthen your biceps or to stretch your hamstrings or to get a good workout in or to heal an injury. The name of this class is Yoga for Relaxation. The whole goal is to relax and breathe and be together in community. So just keep that in mind when you're practicing. If you have thoughts of like, maybe I could push myself a little harder, just instead think like, how could I relax a little bit more into these postures? So that's the goal. Sorry, I'm adjusting something real quick. Okay, so that's the goal. So from here, find yourself in a comfortable seated position. Pretty much everything we do in this class is going to be on the floor. So find yourself in a comfortable seated position and take a slow inhale through your nose and a slow exhale through your nose, just starting to arrive. Notice any lingering impressions from the day. Anything playing across your mind that already happened, anything that's going to happen after this, any tasks you have to do, and just politely set all of that aside. I know this, and I think a lot of you know this as well. Sometimes it can feel frivolous or somehow selfish to kind of take a little bit of time for ourselves, but actually usually after a yoga class, after some sort of meditation or relaxation technique, we're able to kind of come back to the rest of our lives with renewed focus and more compassion, not just for ourselves, towards others. So this is very much, I think, in service of, helping you to be a little bit more relaxed and also helping you to be a nicer person, be a more helpful person, all of that. So good for you for making it to class. Take a slow inhale and a slow exhale. Breathe in and breathe out. We're going to start with something called EFT or tapping. It goes along with different meridians in Eastern medicine. So it's a little bit like acupuncture, but with tapping rather than needles. And the idea is we're going to tap out different meridians on our bodies. That's supposed to lend itself to kind of shifting energy. So if you feel like you have energy stuck in your body that you're not sure what to do with, tapping is great for that. And as there's a mantra component to it, so as you tap yourself out, I'll walk us through it. You're going to pick a mantra. It's an even if or even though blank, I know blank statement. So an example would be like, even though I'm really stressed out about tonight, I know that all I can really do is control myself, and I'm choosing to breathe. Even though I know I did everything in my power to make my world a better place, I know that my part is done, and now I'm just going to take a moment to sit with myself. Even though I had a really stressful day, I know everything will be okay and the sun will rise tomorrow. Some sort of statement like that. So just take a moment and you can think of, whatever that is for you. And we'll repeat it 3 times. So as you're tapping out different parts of your body, you'll repeat that mantra to yourself. The first part that we tap out is the side of the hand, like the karate chop side. And you can pick either hand to tap out. I'm left-handed, so I'm going to tap my right hand with my left hand. Okay, so starting this, and we're just going to start tapping the outside of that hand and repeat that statement to yourself, whatever it is. Even though today was stressful, I know the sun will rise tomorrow, or whatever statement you chose. Good. Next, move to the hairline of your body, repeating that same statement. Even though today is stressful, I know the sun will rise tomorrow. Good. Next, moving to the space above the eyebrows, repeating that same statement as you tap. Next, moving to the temples, the outsides of the eyes. Now moving to the cheeks, the under eyes. So you repeat this affirmation towards yourself. Next, moving to the space between your nose and your upper lip. Even though today is stressful, I know the sun will rise tomorrow, whatever the statement is for you. Next, moving to the chin. The collarbones. And the armpit area, which if you like me are a little bit sweaty, is always kind of funny, but it lines up with the meridian, so we're supposed to do it. Okay, good. And then slowly bring your arms down, relax your hands, relax your shoulders and jaw, take an inhale and an exhale. Noticing any energetic shifts in your body or in your consciousness. And the answer to that inquiry can be that nothing feels like it's changed or a lot feels like it's changed, and both are valid. We're going to do that 2 more times, but just a little bit faster with less explanation. So pick a hand and then tap it out as you repeat that affirmation to yourself. Even though today is stressful, I know the sun will rise tomorrow, or whatever that statement is for you. Next, moving to the hairline. The space just above the eyebrows. Temples. Cheeks. The space between your nose and upper lip. Your chin. Collarbones. Even though today is stressful, I know the sun will rise tomorrow. And armpit area. Good, bring your arms down, relax your hands, your shoulders, take an inhale. And exhale, just being open to whatever this experience is telling you. Yoga is a process of discernment. There is no right or wrong, just your own personal truth with your own experience and your body. Last one, we'll do it 1 more time, taking one hand and then chopping out or tapping out the karate chop side of your hand. Even though I can't control everything, I know I can control my breath. Next, moving to the hairline. Area above the eyebrows. Temples. Space just below the eyes, the cheeks. Space between the lip and nose. Collarbones. And armpit area. Good, and then slowly bring your hands and arms down. You can close your eyes, take an inhale, and an exhale. Breathing in, and breathing out. Wonderful. From here, we're going to start to move the body, beginning with the neck. As you inhale, stretch up out of the crown of your head. As you exhale, slowly bring your right ear towards right shoulder, stretching the left side neck. It's worth noting that I'm not mirroring you, so it might look like I'm moving my head to the left, when in fact I'm moving my head to the right. You are welcome to follow my words or my body. Either way, know that in general, I will do the right side of postures first, unless I forget. Good, slowly roll your head down, so chin to chest, relax your jaw, relax your head and neck down, Keep your shoulders down away from your ears, sitting up tall, so just the neck spine moving. Good, and now slowly roll your left ear to left shoulder, stretching the right side of your body. And this side might feel a little or a lot different. It does for me. We are not symmetrical. We are not butterflies. We are perfectly imperfect. Yoga gives us tools to notice and address our incongruencies, but it also gives us tools to be okay with the fact that one shoulder might be a little tighter than the other, and that's okay. Slowly roll your head back down, chin to chest. Roll your head back up, looking straight ahead. And now start to lift your nose and maybe even your chin up to the ceiling. So you stretch the throat and compress the neck spine. Drop the shoulders down, lift your chest up, sit tall through both sit bones. Breathing in, eyes open. Breathing out as you relax your head back, but never force your neck. Good, slowly roll your head back up, looking straight ahead. Good, this time as you inhale, reach your arms up overhead, stretching both sides of the body. Exhale, hands together and bring the hands through heart center. Good, 2 more times, gently moving the body. Inhale, reaching your arms up. Exhale, moving the hands through heart center. Inhale, slowly float your arms up. Exhale, bring your hands through heart center. Hands down on either sides of your body. Keep your right hand by your right hip, and as you inhale, reach your left arm up overhead, stretching the left side body. Option to look forward or to look up towards the ceiling. Notice if all the weight is shifting into your right hip. Evenly distribute your body weight on both sit bones and relax your shoulders down. Good. If you're looking up towards the ceiling, look straight ahead and then sweep your left arm down, around, just moving the body. Place left hand by left hip and reach your right arm up. Drop the shoulders down. You have an option to look forward or look up towards the ceiling. So when we're stressed, one of the things that our body will do is it'll start to separate our mind from our body. And so we get what's called like disembodied, right? Like we're not really aware of what's going on, with our physical body, with our muscle movements, our bones, our skin. Good. Slowly sweep your right arm down. This time, both hands in front of you. Relax your head. Press your hips forward and gently round your spine. So you want to tuck the tailbone under, moving your hips closer to your ribs. Spread your shoulders wide and relax your head down. And through yoga, through meditation, simply through moving the body when we're a little bit or a lot stressed out, we tell the body that it's okay to relax and let go just a little bit more. Inhale through your nose and exhale through your nose. Relax your head down. Push the floor away from you. Create space between your shoulder blades. Good. Slowly walk your hands back in. Place your hands behind you, and this time look up, and if it feels good, lift your chin and chest. Try to squeeze shoulders together, opening your chest. Stick your butt out a little bit so the whole front of the body opens and the back starts to bend. And as we do these back bends, if you start to feel nauseous or dizzy, that's normal. We have a big bundle of nerves in the solar plexus nerve system in the middle of our stomach. And when we stretch it out, it can feel a little bit intense. We'll have a neuromuscular reaction to it sometimes. But this part of the body wants to be stretched out. It's where we hold a lot of tension and emotion. So stretching it out starts to release that tension and emotion, which can sometimes be uncomfortable in the moment, but makes us feel so good after class. Good. Slowly come back up, looking straight ahead. As you inhale, reach your right arm up, stretching up. As you exhale, place your right hand close behind you at the base of your spine. Inhale, reach your left arm up, stretching left side body. Exhale, place left hand on left knee thigh area. Inhale, stretch up, abdomen in. Exhale, look over your right shoulder and twist. You can keep your right hand behind you or take it off the floor and see if you can do a half bind, grabbing your inner left thigh with your right hand. Inhale, stretch up, abdomen in. Exhale, look over your right shoulder, pull your stomach into the twist. If you have your right hand wrapped for a bind, start by releasing that hand back to the floor, and then slowly, carefully unwind, coming back to center. We'll do the other side. Inhale, reach your left arm up. Exhale, place left hand close behind you. Inhale, reach your right arm up. Exhale, place right hand on left knee thigh area. So every inhale, you want to stretch up, getting traction, motion in the spine. Every exhale, pull your abdomen in, look over your left shoulder, and twist. Notice if you start leaning to the left, press your right sit bone down just as much as your left sit bone. You can keep your left hand behind you for balance or take it off the floor and wrap your hand behind you, eventually grabbing inner right thigh with left hand. Inhale, stretch up, abdomen in. Exhale, look over your left shoulder, twist, twist, twist. Good. Slowly, carefully come back to center. Take your time. Next, we're going to move into a butterfly shape. So if you're crisscross applesauce like I am, bring your feet together and your knees open. And at first, that'll look like this. Eventually, the knees will start to drop down, opening through the hips. And for those of you who have this range of motion in your body, you can bring your heels closer to your groin to open the hips more. For those of you who have tight hips or knees, bring your feet further away from your body to have it be a little bit of a more gentle stretch. I have a couple options from here. You can sit up tall. You can give yourself a big hug. Or you can put your hands on the floor and round forward. Drop your head, relax your jaw, and the more you come down, the more you'll feel it in the thighs and the hips. Breathing in and breathing out. Notice where you're carrying tension. And see if you can release that tension. Maybe from the inner thighs, the hips, the shoulders, or jaw. Just letting the tension go through the exhale breath. Especially the pelvic floor. Relax your pelvic floor. Relax your brow. Take 3 more breaths here. Slow inhale. Even slower exhale. When we breathe slowly in and out through the nose, we tell the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system that there's no need to fight, flight, or freeze. Slow inhale. And slow exhale. Good. Slowly walk yourself up. Next, we'll do Janu Shavasana. Keep your left leg bent in and slowly, carefully bring your right leg out. And after that hip opener, it might be a little bit tight in the body, and I'm right there with you. So left heel towards groin, left foot pushing into inner right thigh, right leg out to the side. Inhale, reach your arms up overhead. Exhale, turn to your right and slowly round down. You have an option to put your hands on the floor on either sides of your knees, your thighs, maybe your calves. For my flexi folks, you're welcome to catch your foot with your hand, bend the elbows down, and relax your head down, forehead to knee. So for those of you that do 26 and 2 yoga with me, in that style of yoga, we are very exacting about touching the forehead and knee together, about flexing the toes back. See, my foot just does it naturally. Muscle memory after years of doing that. But for this version, you can relax your foot. You don't have to bring your head exactly to your knee. You just want to round the spine over your right thigh. Try to bring your left rib cage closer to your right thigh. Drop both shoulders down. Press your left hip down, left knee down. Take an inhale and an exhale. Notice where you're carrying tension in the posture and just see if you can breathe through it for 3 more breaths in and out through the nose. Okay. As you're ready, slowly come up, take your time, and place your hands down. We'll do the other side, left leg out, right leg in. Inhale, reach your arms overhead. Exhale, turn to your left and slowly round down. And again, this side might feel a little or a lot different, and that's okay. We don't have to be perfectly symmetrical, right? Just breathing in and breathing out. You want to feel a stretch on the back of the hamstring and a nice rounding to the spine. So when we round forward, it's also a calming, cooling, relaxing response for the body. Soften through your shoulders and chest. Notice any worries on your heart and just let them go. Breathing in and breathing out. Okay, as you're ready, slowly come back up, and this time bring your right leg out so both legs are wide. For a deeper inner thigh stretch, you can bring your feet wider apart. If this is too intense, bring your feet closer together. You have an option to stay here sitting up tall, or as you're ready, place your hands on the floor and take your time folding forward. Eventually, you can drop your head down. For those of you like me who are kind of go-getters with yoga, again, it can be tempting to think of this like, how can I get the deepest possible stretch to my legs? But I just remind you, this class is yoga for relaxation. So don't worry so much about how deep the stretch is. Worry more about how you can let go of your worries, right? How you can just be in service to letting your body know, letting your mind know that it's all good. Even though today is stressful, I know the sun will rise tomorrow. Take an inhale and an exhale. Good. Place your hands on the floor. Slowly walk yourself back up if you folded forward. And this time, bring your legs together. Inhale, reach your arms up overhead. Exhale, slowly fold forward. So eventually you can catch your feet. Doesn't have to be today or tomorrow. You can have your hands on either sides of your thighs, your knees, your calves. Relax your feet. Relax your head down. You want to feel a stretch to the backs of the hamstrings, but never a point of pain. And I'll tell you a trick. When you see people like me who can touch their toes easily, it's less about flexibility and more about the proportion of your spine to your legs. So for folks like me who have a long torso and short legs, it's pretty easy to grab the feet. For those of you who have long legs, I'm so jealous, but if you can't grab your feet, that's a big part of why. So don't worry so much about where your hands are. Just worry about folding forward gently so you get a gentle stretch to the back of your body. Relax your jaw and head, drop your head down. Good. Place your hands on the floor, slowly walk yourself up. This time, bend your legs, bring your feet and knees together, bring your arms out to the side, and then roll in for a nice big hug. You can maybe rock your knees and feet and hips side by side, just kind of rolling out the hips, rolling out the knees, the ankles. Okay, good. From here, we're gonna come into tabletop position. So on knees and feet, and it's called tabletop because you want to make a tabletop with your body, right? So you want wrists under shoulders and knees under hips. We're going to do a few cat-cows. So, it was just Halloween, right? And think about, the carved pumpkins you see with an angry cat, how their spine is rounding up. That's what we're going to do with our spine. So for cat pose, exhale, pull your belly in. Drop your head and round your spine up towards the ceiling. So think about rounding your spine like an angry cat. Press your hips forward. Relax your head down. Create maximum space between your shoulders. This is cat pose. Meow. For cow pose, drop your stomach down towards the floor. Lift your hips, lift your chin, look up. So for cows, if you've ever, driven by some cows, I was in Southern Virginia this weekend and drove by many, you'll notice that their stomachs hang down. And that's what we're doing with cow pose. You want to open your chest, draw your shoulders away from your ears, squeeze your shoulders together, stick your butt up a little bit and look up. Cow pose, moo. We'll go a little bit faster. Cat pose, tuck your tailbone under, press your hips towards your ribs, spread your shoulders wide, press the floor away from you, drop your head, look towards your thighs or even the wall behind you. Cow pose, as you inhale, drop your stomach down, squeeze your shoulders together, look up towards the ceiling, lift your chin and chest, lift your hips, bend your spine, open your chest. Cat pose, exhale, pull your belly in, press the hips forward, round your spine, try to draw your belly button up towards your middle spine, belly button up towards the ceiling, drop your head down. Good, and one more cow pose, drop your stomach down, lift your hips, imagine you have a number 2 pencil between your shoulders, try to squeeze it together, opening through the heart space, opening through the throat. Good, and come back into a neutral tabletop position. From here, we'll take a child's pose, a wide-legged child's pose. So you want to open your knees wide, bring your feet together, and slowly start to sink your hips down and reach your arms forward. Now, a couple options. If reaching your arms forward like this is uncomfortable for your shoulders, you're welcome to take a blanket or a pillow and place it under your chest and arms. You can also have your arms down by your side in what's called fetal pose. Bring your forehead to the floor, sink your hips down, and just breathe. This is always a great relaxing posture, child's pose, wide-legged child's pose. If I'm ever having a stressful day, I kind of put myself in a timeout and I just time 3 minutes in this posture. And I always feel a little bit better afterwards, a little bit more grounded. So that's what we're doing here. Just let the floor hold you up. It's like an adult timeout, but you're not in trouble. It's like you get to do an adult timeout. Reach your arms forward, sink your hips down, breathe in through your nose and out through your nose. As you inhale, feel the backs of your ribs expand. And as you exhale, feel them soften down. So when we think about our ribs, we often kind of think of the front of our ribs because that's what we see. But notice that the ribs are 3-dimensional. So focus on the back of the body. Feel that expand and contract with your breath. Notice where you're holding tension and see if you can just let it go through the breath. One more time, inhale. And exhale, letting everything soften down. Slowly start to walk yourself up. Take your time. There's absolutely no rush. When you're ready, we're going to turn and lie down on our backs for our first Savasana or puddle pose. So I'll give you a couple options here. For Savasana, you're welcome to lie down on your back with your head towards the front of your mat usually and your feet towards the back of your mat. You can let your toes fall open, arms down with palms facing the ceiling. If lying on your back with your legs straight is uncomfortable, that's really common. Couple things you can do. You can bend your legs so that your feet are on the floor and let your knees rest together. You're also welcome to take a small blanket or towel or pillow and place it under your lower back if that's the part that's coming off the floor. That's really normal. And then you have some support in the lumbar spine. If lying on your back just in general is really uncomfortable, even with your knees bent, you're welcome to lie on your side or even on your stomach if that feels better for you. So depending on the style of yoga that you're practicing, this posture has a couple different names. Traditionally in yoga, this is called savasana, which translates to mean corpse pose or dead body pose, which if you think about it kind of makes sense, right? You're lying down with your limbs close together. But in yin or restorative yoga, we call it puddle pose. And it's a little less rigid. It's like you're lying as if you're a puddle, right? And I like both of those ideas. I think there's something to both of them. So whatever speaks to you, right? Whether it's corpse pose, savasana, the traditional route, or puddle pose, this idea that things are a little bit more fluid, a little less rigid. Good. Next, we're going to take a spine twist. Bring your arms out to the sides. You can have your arms out so you kind of look like a T or a cross, or you can bend your arms up into a cactus or goalpost shape. From here, bend your legs if they're not already, feet on the floor, and slowly roll your knees to the right so that your left hip comes off the floor, left glute off the floor. So left hip stacks on top of right hip, left knee on top of right knee. You should feel a nice stretch to the outer left hip. Try to roll your left shoulder back down to the floor. So 2 shoulders are on the floor, and this way it's a nice spine twist. Now you can stay right here with your legs bent. I'll give you a couple of other options as well. You can keep your top left leg bent and start to straighten your right leg back towards the wall behind you or the back of your mat. From here, you can keep your left top leg bent, or you can kick your left leg out to the right. And if you really want an IT band stretch to the outer left thigh area, you can even see if you can catch your left foot with your right hand. If you'd like to get a deeper spine twist, you can roll your left ear down towards the floor, and now the whole spine is twisting. This is a great way to kind of like wring out the spine when we're tight, and it's also a bit of an abdominal twist, so it's good for digestion. Try to keep the left shoulder down. Relax your jaw. Notice where you're holding tension and just breathe into it. Rather than contracting muscles to get into the posture, see if you can relax muscles to get into the posture. It always surprises me where I'm holding tension. And this is true outside of yoga as well. This is how we end up kind of working ourselves into a stress ball. We have physical responses to stress, and we don't even often realizing, right, that we're like tensing our shoulders or gritting our jaw. We don't even realize it's happening until we get to yoga and we're like, ooh, I'm really tight. And even within yoga, we don't always quite realize where we're holding tension until we consciously do a body scan. Good. Slowly roll your head back to center if you had your head rolled to the left. If you have your left foot out to the right, start by bending that left knee again. If you have your right leg straight out behind you, bend your right leg again, so legs stack on top of one another. And then we're going to slowly, carefully roll back to center. I like to actually place my hands on my legs. Take your time rolling left hip down, then back into savasana or puddle pose. You can keep your knees bent or arms and legs down. Sometimes the release from a yoga posture is as therapeutic or as intense as the posture itself, especially in longer holds of postures. We do stretch certain parts of the body. We play a little bit around with blood circulation. So sometimes when we release into a more neutral state like savasana or puddle pose, you'll feel a rush of blood to one part of the body or like a sensation in one part of the body. And that is completely normal. Let's do the other side. Bend your legs up if they're not already, knees resting together, feet on the floor. You can have your arms out to the side or bent, cactused like goalposts. From here, start to roll your legs to the left, lifting your right hip off the floor, eventually left knee to floor. So right hip stacks on top of left hip, right knee stacks on top of left knee. Try to keep your right shoulder and your left shoulder on the floor. You can stay right here. A couple options on this side again. You can straighten your left leg back to the back wall, back to the back of your mat. You can stay here with your right knee bent or kick that right leg out to the left. And if you're feeling extra sassy, even catch your right big toe with your left hand for that outer right thigh IT band stretch. If you'd like to get your neck involved, you can roll your right ear down towards your mat, your floor, stretching the whole body, whole spine. Breathing in and breathing out. Let your hands and feet be heavy. Give your body permission just to relax and let go a little bit more. All you have to do is breathe. We're going to slowly reverse out of it, starting with the neck. So if you are looking to the right, if your right ear is on the floor, start by rolling your head back to center. If you have your right leg kicked out to the left or you're catching your foot with your hand, start by releasing that, bend the right leg back. If you have your left leg straight back behind you, bend the left leg back so your legs stack on top of each other. And then from here, if you'd like, you can place your hands on your knees, thighs, and slowly roll yourself down. Right hip down, right shoulder down. You can keep your knees bent or arms and legs down. Puddle pose. Breathing in and breathing out. All right. Bend your legs up if they're not already. So feet are on the floor, knees resting side by side. And we're going to slowly, carefully roll off to one side. And then slowly make your way onto your stomach. Good. Okay, so the next posture we do is called Sphinx pose. It's one of my favorites from more restorative, relaxed styles of yoga. I'll start by showing you from the side. So Sphinx pose is a back bend. Eventually you'll have your elbows bent with your elbows under shoulders, pressing the forearms down so your back bends. This can be intense, right? You're welcome to bring your arms more forward, and that'll lessen the back bend. And for those of you who are like super flexy, you can actually make a prop under your elbows so you get a deeper back bend. If lying on your stomach is really uncomfortable, or if you're pregnant, you are welcome to have a prop like a blanket or towel under your thighs so that your stomach can rest down and there's not that pressure on the stomach. Draw your shoulders away from your ears. So roll the shoulders back and down, opening through the chest. And for those of you that practice this style of yoga with me every Tuesday, I'm sorry that you have to hear this bad joke again, but I like to say, okay, so this is called Sphinx pose. Think of your favorite Sphinx. It can be the Sphinx in Egypt, the Sphinx at the Luxor in Las Vegas. It can be the Sphinx from Harry Potter 4, whatever Sphinx works for you. But in mythology, Sphinxes tell riddles, right? They like make you kind of solve a problem. And yoga is a little bit different. So in mythology, Sphinxes give you a question so that you can come up with an answer. In yoga, we kind of give you an answer so that you can come up with the questions. So the answer, the command, the movement is Sphinx pose, right? You're doing a posture, you're bringing your shoulders down, you're opening your chest, and bending your spine. That's the answer, right? But the riddle, that's up to you. Like, why is it really hard to keep my shoulders down? Why does this posture feel so good today? It hasn't in the past. Why is my left hip so much tighter than my right hip, right? And yoga gives you the answers so that you can get the questions, right? You get to kind of decide how things feel. Again, yoga is this process of discernment. So your experience in this posture might be very different from somebody else practicing it. And neither are like better or worse or right or wrong. It's just this process of discernment. Somebody at my teacher training once said, yogis are really good at sniffing out BS, which I really liked, right? Where I think because we work so much on, does this feel right for me? Does this make sense for me? In yoga, we're better able outside of the room to also be like, does this make sense? Does this feel right? Roll your shoulders down, lift your chest up, take an inhale, exhale, and slowly come on down. You have an option to take a stomach savasana. If lying on your stomach is not comfortable, please feel free to take a puddle pose or savasana on your back or on your side. For those of you who would like to take a rest on your stomach, you can bend your elbows out and bring your head down. You also have an option to look to the right with left ear on the towel. And you can also bring your arms down by your sides, palms facing the ceiling. If you do want to look to one side with one ear on the floor, I'll tell you when we're halfway through puddle pose so you can gently lift your head and look to the other side. Relax through your shoulders, your hips, let your feet be heavy. Breathe in and breathe out. If you're looking to one side, slowly, carefully lift your head and look to the other side. So other ear on your mat. As you inhale, feel your ribs expand. As you exhale, relax through your chest, your stomach, your thighs. Breathing in and breathing out. If you're looking to one side, slowly, carefully lift your head, look forward, put your hands on the floor, and everyone together, we will find ourselves in a tabletop position. So take your time if you're coming from your back or your side. Next, I will give us 3 different variations of the same posture. So I'll show you from the side. The first variation is what is called either pigeon or swan. So you're going to tuck your toes under, lift your hips up for a down dog. Bring your right leg up towards the ceiling, 3-legged dog. Look forward towards your hands, start to lean forward and start to bring the right leg forward. So right knee to right wrist, right foot down, and then slowly bring your left leg back behind you. So eventually the hip sits down. So in Vinyasa or 26 and 2 yoga, this is called pigeon pose. In yin or restorative, it is called swan. I don't know about you. I prefer the idea of a swan to a pigeon, but maybe that's my own prejudice showing. So you can do this variation of the posture. All 3 variations that I'm going to show you are really wonderful for sciatic pain. If you've ever had sciatica, sciatic nerve pain, this is your posture. However, if this is quite intense for your body, there's other ways to get that same stretch. You can come out and we'll take what's called figure 4. I'll give you 2 options for figure 4. The first is in a seated position. You're going to place your hands behind you, keep your left foot on the floor, lift your right leg up and cross it over. You can stay here or start to walk your hands in a little bit so that your thighs and your stomach come closer together. This is option 2, a seated figure 4. Last option for figure 4 is to take it on the back. So you lie down on your back. Same thing, feet on the floor, knees bent. Keep your left foot on the floor. Lift your right leg up. Bring your right knee to the right so that your right ankle shin area comes on top of your left thigh. You can keep your left foot on the floor or start to lift your left leg off the floor, maybe even grabbing your knees or thighs and drawing the legs in towards the abdomen. So these are 3 different versions of the same outer thigh stretch, and one is not better than the other. They're all just different, and they all kind of have their own benefits, right? So whatever works for you. For folks who are in the pigeon swan pose, if you would like to do what's called sleeping swan, you can start to fold forward. If you ever meet someone who tells you that they have sciatic nerve pain, this is their posture. Tell them to look up swan pose or figure 4 pose, but this is one of the best things that you can do for that really common and really not fun feeling, that pain that can shoot all the way down into your foot, right? It's really incredible. Some of the nerves in our body are really long, and it's a reminder of how interconnected things are, right? This nerve that goes from the back all the way down your leg, right? So sometimes we're like, oh, my foot hurts or my hip hurts, when in fact it's this really long nerve. So through breathing through the body, through stretching the body, we don't just stretch muscles, we also work into nerve pain. Good. We're going to slowly come out of whatever you are in, take your time, and then come onto your back for puddle pose or savasana. And just notice as you slowly come out of that one, any sensation in the hip, in the thigh. And then just take a few slow breaths through the nose. All right, as you're ready, bend your legs up so your feet are on the floor, knees resting together, and roll off to the other side, maybe a side that you haven't rolled off to yet. I guess there's only 2 options. So you're ready, put your hands on the floor and slowly walk yourself up. And we'll do the other side. And I should say, if you'd like to take figure 4 lying on your back, you can stay on your back, right? Otherwise, you have the option to do seated figure 4, bending one leg up, walking the thighs together, or for my pigeon swan friends, coming into a tabletop position with toes tucked under, lift your hips up, down dog. Lift your left leg up, 3-legged dog. Look forward towards your hands, lean forward and bring your left knee towards left wrist, left foot on the floor, and then start to walk that right leg back. For pigeon and swan folks, notice if one hip way lifts up. Try to press the right hip forward and down. And if your right hip is way off the floor right now, that is very normal. You are welcome to place a blanket, towel, any sort of prop under your hip so it has something to rest on. Eventually, the right hip comes down to the floor. Doesn't have to be today or tomorrow. The more you square off the hips, this is a wonderful practice pose for eventually standing or sitting in the splits. You have an option to stay here lifting up or do a folding pigeon or sleeping swan, depending on what terminology you would like. Relax your head down and breathe in and out through your nose. Drop your shoulders. Soften your chest. Relax your stomach. Let go of any tension in the pelvic floor. Relax your seat. Let the backs of your legs, tops of your legs, and feet be heavy. Notice any lingering tension in the body. Notice where you're carrying tension or fighting the posture. And see if you can just give in and relax a little bit more. Take a slow inhale. Slow exhale. And carefully put your hands on the floor, walk yourself up, and find your way into a savasana or puddle pose of your choice, either on your back or your stomach or your side, whatever works for you. A lot of these postures are hip openers. Our hips are a place where most of us carry tension. So sometimes when we release out of these hip opening postures, it's not just physically intense, it is emotionally intense, right? So if you feel some sort of way when you're in a hip opener or when you're releasing out of it, that is normal. And, you know, in fact, I take back a little bit of what I said. I don't think there's such a distinction between a physical sensation and an emotional sensation. It is called feelings for a reason. And like we feel things, right? Our emotions are real. They're involuntary neurological events that take place in our body. So it's not so wild or crazy to think that moving your body could release emotions, because when we feel emotions, we move our body, right? When we're nervous, we fidget. When we're sad, we hunch forward. When we're scared, we run, right? So it works in both directions. When we use our body to calm our mind, it can be pretty magical. At the beginning of class, we're often using our mind to calm our body, right? Like we're telling our body, like, sit still, lie down, be quiet. But by the end of class, my hope for you is often that your body is telling your mind, we've got this, it's all good. Just relaxing through the shoulders and chest, softening through the legs. Let your feet and hands be heavy, breathing in and breathing out. Last active posture is just a big hug on your back. So bend your legs up, feet on the floor, and then lift your feet off the floor. You have a couple options here. You can place your hands on your knees, shins, and bring the knees and thighs in towards your abdomen. You can try to interlace your fingers, can catch your wrists, your forearms, or eventually you'll grab your elbows, just giving yourself a big hug. Maybe rock right and left, back and forth, just rolling out the spine. This posture, as we bring the thighs into the abdomen, is good for digestion. It's good for rolling your hips and shoulders down. It's good for giving yourself a hug. If you're rolling back and forth, just come back to the center, find a little bit of stillness. Squeeze tight. Lift your head off the floor. Try to bring your forehead towards your knees and then really squeeze tight. If you'd like tense up your face, tense every muscle in your body, squeezing tight. Inhale. And then this time, relax your face, release the grip. Exhale through your mouth, let your arms and legs go. 2 more times. Bend your legs in. Grab your elbows or give yourself a big hug. Lift your head off the floor. Round your spine. Squeeze tight, contracting every muscle in your body. Inhale. Exhale through your mouth. Release the posture. Arms and legs down to the floor. And let it go. Last one. Draw your knees in. Give yourself a big hug. Squeeze tight, tensing the body. Inhale. Exhale. And let everything go. Arms and legs down by your side. This is final savasana. If you have a blanket or pillow nearby and you would like an extra relaxed and luxurious experience, feel free to place a blanket over your body or a pillow, under your head or under your feet, just anything that would feel good for you in this moment. Okay, once you've found yourself in a comfortable position, final savasana, final puddle pose, let your toes fall open, palms facing the ceiling, palms open to receive. Draw your attention to the center line of your body. Notice what parts of your body are touching the ground and what parts are not. Noticing where you feel clothing or blankets over you. And honing in on what parts of your skin are touching the air. Just allow yourself to feel truly held. Sometimes it's easy to feel untethered. Gravity, just lying on the floor, is a nice reminder that we are very much tied to this moment, to this unique space and time, breathing in and breathing out. Inhale and exhale. And just for a moment, give yourself permission to be relaxed, to be at peace. I know it's so hard. Just give yourself permission to be relaxed and to be at peace. And I'll tell you another secret. That's a practice. Nobody's good at that, especially these days. If you're finding it hard to relax, just practice. Just practice relaxing through your forehead and cheeks, softening through your jaw and throat. Let your shoulders get really heavy on the floor, and let the floor hold you up. Relax through the upper spine, middle spine, softening the lower spine. Relax through your chest and abdomen, hips and seat. Relax outer thighs, inner thighs, space between the thighs. Softening through the knees, shins, and calves, ankles, feet, each and every toe. Relaxing through the legs and torso, back through the shoulders and armpits. Relax your upper arms, elbows. Notice any lingering tension in your forearms and let it go. Soften through your wrists. Let your hands be heavy. Relax every finger. Relaxing through the arms, torso, and legs, spine, throat, and neck. Softening through the jaw, the nose. Let your eyes be heavy in their sockets. Relaxing through the forehead, hairline, scalp, back of the head. Relax the space behind your ears. Outer ears, inner ears. Let your earlobes be heavy. Take an inhale through your nose. Exhale through your nose, and picture yourself in perfect, radiant health. Inhale through your nose. Exhale through your nose, and picture our country in perfect, radiant health. Inhale through your nose. Exhale through your nose, and picture our world in perfect, radiant health. Inhale through your nose. Exhale through your nose, and picture yourself in perfect, radiant health. That radiance, that health, it begins with you. It emanates from you. It stems from you, and it's because of you. Slow inhale. Slow exhale. And all is coming. You're welcome to stay in final Savasana as long as you'd like. Maybe even take a nap, might feel nice. When it is time, slowly get up. Take your time. Please make sure you're drinking lots of water, especially with the tapping. That is supposed to move a lot of energy in the body, and it's recommended that you drink a lot of water after doing any sort of acupuncture activity, even if it's just tapping, not needles. So make sure you drink lots of water tonight, and I love you all. It is so great to see you. Let me know if you have any questions.